Now when I posted my arena guide last time, I told you that you can easily make it to tier 21 if you use the resource as well. My main account shows that too. It's entirely free to play, and yet I managed to hit all the highest tiers in all game modes. However, that account is comfortably sitting on 3 years worth of resources since I played it actively since launch. So here's the big question. Could I get to tier 21 arena even if I started from scratch? And how long would it take me? Well, we're about to find out, because we're going from 0 to 21. Now this episode will only be the first 3 days, since at the beginning of the game there's such a metric ton of stuff to do. Also, I decided 3 days before reset because my planning is horrible, so it's a short week. So, let's begin! As I mentioned, I started this account on a Saturday, 3 days before reset, which means time is of the essence. We need to participate in all modes successfully where there are weekly rewards to reap. My goal is to get ready for Ether raids as fast as possible, so I can climb up the ranks and receive more heroic grails. However, the first thing I did was receive my gifts. Right now is probably the best time to start the game, since you will receive a free Altina. Altina is an amazing unit. She performs extremely well in combat, and possibly even more important, she is an Astra mythic hero, which is very valuable for us since I don't intend to spend any orbs on summons for the time being. Mind you, Altina is only available until April 11th. So first thing I did was to get all my free summons. I started with the weekly revival 1. I'm not really interested in any of these free, but Deirdre would have been handy with a dragon slaying. But alas, we didn't even get a green orb, so La Rochelle it is. She could be useful. As far as blue blade mages go, she is one of the better ones. Next up, the Three Houses banner. I'm looking for either Annette or Lysithea. No, the banner doesn't give me a choice. Can we call this beginner's luck? I'm not sure if it fits, but she's going to be very useful, especially this week. Just released, we have the Family Festivities banner. I'd be looking for Idun on this one, and no red orbs. I go for blue instead and end up with an Oboro. I have absolutely no use for her, so this one's a dud. Then we also have the House Leader banner. On this one I'm looking for Claude, mainly because he makes a decent substitute to the Bravelin that new players would pick up in the past. And I get him. Certainly not as much of an asset as Lysithea, but nice to have nonetheless. Last we summon on the heroes with Aerobatics banner. I try for Nino, and I actually get Nino. Except this one forgot her Pegasus at home. Well, at least she has drawback, which I inherit to Lysithea. Now we get to the part that only new accounts have access to. Starting with the Hero Fest. There are some heavy hitters on this one. But the unit I'd be looking for is actually Nyla. She can give infantry units both Null Sea Disrupt and Distant Counter, which if I had both on a Brave Ike, he'd be an absolute outstanding unit. I summon on blue and get a Silas. Excellent, that's reposition fodder and you can never have enough of those. I gave this one to Altina since we will be using her a lot. There's a decent chance that I actually might come back to this banner before this account loses access to it, simply because of how powerful my Brave Eye could become if I get a Nyla. However, we now move on to the big guns. We are allowed to get 2 free 5-star heroes of our choice from the Brave banners. Most people would recommend you go for Veronica on the 2nd year Brave banner, and I would certainly agree with that. She is both a powerful supporter with her staff, but also a scary offensive unit. Also, most free-to-play guides for Grand Hero battles and such will assume you picked her. The 3rd year Brave banner is a different story. I'm not even sure if there is a consensus on what the best unit on here would be. I think some might say Micaiah because she has a dual sabotage skill and because Ground Orders is a very powerful movement skill. However, I will be going with Camilla. Camilla has a Gravity Staff as a personal weapon, which is already often good enough to solo entire teams, but also has impressive offensive stats and has flyer mobility, which pairs nicely with gravity. So now that that's done, time to play the game. Or not. Actually, we should connect our account to a Nintendo account, so we won't lose our progress if we lose our phone. Also, it gives us access to some goodies such as 10 orbs, up to 10,000 feathers and a few other things. Now we start playing. However, not with our own units, but in the Hall of Forms. We need to clear the entire thing within 3 days, so we need to be very efficient with our torches. I managed to get up to floor 20 on day 1. If I can manage to beat floor 21 tomorrow, I will be awarded more former torches and I will most likely be able to finish this. Next, I do a few of the prologue chapters to advance the hero's path and claim Reinhardt. However, clearing maps consumes stamina, and at the beginning of the game stamina is actually very valuable. So as soon as I have gained a few levels, I go to the Grand Hero battles against Michaelis and farm it for XP and SP. We can keep doing it over and over again without using stamina, and as long as we can kill at least one unit before dying, we can generate as much XP and SP as we want, until eventually we can beat it for real. It just takes a bit of time, like actually quite a lot more than I remember. Well, turns out I forgot something. We should have upgraded our castle. This should in theory always be your first step, since you will probably even before clearing the prologue have enough orbs to buy all castle upgrades, and this will significantly increase the XP you get. With that out of the way, I level my entire team to level 40 and get them all their skills. Now the hero's path would want us to keep clearing the main story to advance, but I've got a better idea. We clear the first chapter of every book, as well as the Xenologue 3, the People's Hero. This will award us with 4 more powerful free-to-play units, in Fjorm, Ike, Air and Peony. These guys are level 1 though, so time to grind more Grand Hero belts. Now we are prepared, so let's go into Arena next. I use my highest scoring team here. Since it is water and earth season, it doesn't matter which legendary hero I use. I decided to go with Ike. Peony and Air will count as Earth Blast because it is both light and earth season, and mythic heroes profit from legendary heroes outside of Aether raids if their seasons coincide. Also, this is where Lysithea is incredibly useful. I need a bonus unit, so if I didn't get Lysithea, I would have had to train up Anna. Worse yet, I would have needed to kill a unit with Anna every battle. Lysithea on the other hand vaporizes basically anything she touches. In fact, I would have struggled a lot to even win some of these battles, like against Surtur or Winter Sophis for example. After that is done, I do my first 3 runs in Tempest Trial at the highest difficulty, to gain as much points as possible. I don't intend to go for a score within the top 1000 or anything, but I definitely want to get all orb rewards from this mode. Next, the hero's path requires us to summon a Grail unit. The one I want to get eventually is the Flame Emperor, but that one is currently not available. Instead, I decide for a unit that will be very useful later on, a Versa. I also go through all of the beginner's lessons and skill studies to harvest all of their rewards. Then I use my remaining stamina to advance the main story, since I will need to hit chapter 13 in order to get access to sacred seals and weapon refines. I could have probably hit chapter 13 if I immediately burned all my stamina potions, however I decided against it. Even if we are currently not at full power, I feel like right now it is time. It might get a little harder, but I need to start in Aether raids. Now, we don't care about our defense map at all right now. The only things we want to build is the Dark Shrine to get the fort bonus and the escape ladder in case we fail. I upgraded to rank 2 as well. As I go to prepare my team, I notice I have forgot something. You don't actually have 5 team slots until tier 11. And worse yet, I also need to use a bonus unit. This season I have no choice other than to go with Sharena, even though she is currently level 1. Afraid of what is to come, I bless my Sharena and my Camilla with light blessings. I have no more time to grind levels before the daily reset. I have to do it now. Even though I only have effectively 3 units, I may yet have a chance, since I have a gravity staff plus a dancer. As long as my opponent doesn't have a dancer or I can snipe the dancer, this is winnable. I enter the map and... what the hell are these stats? I get a fort bonus of +5? And my fort starts out at level 2? Which means I get 32 points to all stats? Huh. At this point even my level 1 4-star Sharena can kill this level 40 Levitane. So basically I absolutely overdid it with my preparations. I could have probably gone in here with level 1 units and I would have been fine. I mean, look at this, I face tanked a level 40 Nyla with air and took no damage. Such a mistake should have cost me the map. Well, if nothing else, I have a lot less grinding to do in the future. Or so I thought. Now this is the end of day 1. We got a lot done, but we only have 2 more days until reset. The next day I get my first 3 runs in Tempest Trial again. I then move on to finish my arena run. I realize at this point that arena was actually a much bigger challenge than Aether Raids, since I managed to get a score of around 700 per match, even without the use of Sacred Seals or without blessing Lysithea with a Water Blessing. These matches would actually be quite difficult if Lysithea wasn't so powerful. I managed to get my streak of 5 wins. Let's check if he scored enough to advance 3 tiers. Huh, how about that? Maybe I overdid it yet again, but at least I can now claim I'm rank 1 in arena, I guess. This brings us to rank 6 in the hero's path and awards us with Ninian, another dancer. We also summon on a weekly level 2 banner, hoping for Jenny, another gravity staff healer. But get a Soph instead. Soph is decent, he is the highest attack dagger user in the 3 and 4 star pool. And dagger users have a wide variety of weapons, so they can always be useful in some way. I then realized that we will need to do a Legion's battle this week, and for that we require friends on this account. I decided to just send invites to random people that have decent looking units as their leads. And would you look at that? Someone even accepted already. What a kind and helpful player that guy is. However, we will give it time until tomorrow. Maybe some other people also accept. We get another free summon, this time on the Regal Rabbits banner. I try red for Pala and get Crom. Very useful, Crom is Aether fodder and we will need a lot of that for scoring purposes. I keep going for a bit in Tempest Trial and receive the 5-star Spring Bartre. However, since he is level 1, I give him, Veronica and Claude the old Grand Hero Battle level treatment. We also need to finish the Hall of Forms for some more divine codes. Once I was able to clear the 21st floor and got extra Former torches, it was fairly easy to finish the rest. I even had 3 torches left by the end. If you were interested, these are the builds with which I finished. It's interesting how Reinhardt turned out to be the best unit when on my main account he actually performed the worst. But I guess at least 50% of that is simply Deathblow 4. After that we clear further through the main story, which eventually rewards us with Xander and 20,000 hero feathers. They obviously want us to promote him, but since I know that we will get a 5-star Xander later down the line, I won't. We keep on clearing chapters, and after chapter 13 we get what I've been waiting for this entire time. We get access to sacred seals and weapon refines. I immediately go to create some seals for my units. The quick repose seal would have been my first choice, when I realize I have forgotten something yet again. Seals require badges to be crafted. And while I might have thousands of those on my main account, this account has basically none, since I didn't visit the training tower even once. After looking at my quests and realizing that I also have to do the monthly training tower quests, I soon decide to try my luck for some badges. I would need red ones for quick repose, but since it's Monday I'll be getting random ones, so I'm kind of out of luck here. Since I was able to scrape together a few red badges and the Hero's Path wants us to promote a unit, we are going to promote Aversa. She is incredibly useful both in Aether Raids as well as in Grand Conquest, since she can apply panic and stat debuffs from anywhere on the map. I'm also asked to both equip a seal and upgrade one. Since the path gave us colorless badges, we upgrade HP plus 3 and give it to Altina. This seal is going to be quite useful anyways on Aversa, so I don't mind. With these upgrades we now go to Aether Raids to use our remaining Aether. And we managed to get 2520 lift. But with only 3.5 hours until reset, I need to do the 2 modes we haven't touched yet. Allegiance Battle and Arena. Allegiance Battle is quite quick to point out that we have no friends, which stings but is untrue. Some people actually accepted our friend requests. It just seems that if they did their runs before accepting our request, it won't count towards our friend score. We do however now have units to pair up with. Sadly no green ones, and we don't have any greens ourselves, which drastically reduces how much score we can get. Renoa was kind enough to accept our request and provide us with a +3 legendary Chrom, which is going to be very useful due to close counter and his very powerful assist skill. With this Chrom we are able to get ourselves a bonus score of 110, which considering we had only one pair up and no green unit was very good. Now I only need to spam Allegiance Battle 24 times in a row to get our quest score up. With that I make it to a maximum score of 837, which gets us to 32,000 feathers. And sadly not into the top 50k, which would have given us slightly more resources, oh well. This only leaves one game mode and 2 hours before reset, and that is Arena Assault. Now one thing is very clear before I even begin. I won't have enough units. You would usually play Arena Assault with 28 5-star units at level 40, and I currently only have 11. Even if I was willing to invest a ton of stamina potions and feathers, there is no way I can obtain enough units before the season ends. So I have to settle for a compromise. I decided to at least level Aversa to level 40 real quick, so that I will have 12 5-stars at 40. A Ninian at level 1. For a Dancer level 1 actually should be good enough. However, since that won't be enough to take on full teams of 4 5-stars, I decided to split my power up into 7 small groups. I only used 2 level 40 units in my first team. The first team sets the score range for all other teams, so now I will only face similar teams who also only have 2 good units at best. I then ration out my other 11 units into 5 teams of 2 and 1 team of 1. Which is going to be Altina, since she is the only unit I'd actually expect to be able to solo a team. After several failed attempts due to multiple enemy teams containing Surta when I only have 2 answers against them at most, I managed to finish this season with a score of 4012. Yet again, missing the cutoff for the top 50k. It ain't much, but it's honest work. And that's it for this 3-day long week. A lot of stuff happened and it was really hard to condense all of it down into one video. In future updates on this free-to-play account, I will probably go into more detail on things like how the EVA raids runs were, at least once those become a little more challenging. I certainly would appreciate feedback on whether you would like a format such as this on the channel, and of course if you have any suggestions on how to improve it, I'd be happy to hear them. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it entertaining, feel free to give it a like. Also, if you have any questions, you can leave me a comment down below. And as always, subscribe for more content in the future.